All right. Well, welcome back to the show. This is Chris Frank Games, a video game podcast, live YouTube show / everything you need to know about the weeks in video games. Frank, how are you doing?
It's a one-stop shop. I'm doing good.
Yeah, exactly. That's all you need. All you need to know is what you hear on this show. So you should all feel pretty grateful for it. So, uh, my name is Chris Dawson.
You're
That's
welcome.
yeah, that's Frank White. We have quite a lot to talk about this week and some pretty nice, juicy little stories. I don't know how much we can add to them, but we'll definitely use them for content for this week. And we got the games we've been playing. So we'll share all that. And Frank's got his washing machine in the background.
It's gonna stop any second now. I swear to God. This is
Yeah.
this is what happens when I bring my laundry into the video game emporium that we're clearly, obviously in.
Well, I used to sell washing machines, and Frank, if I'm not mistaken, that's the final rinse cycle that you're on
Yeah,
there right now.
it's
So it should be done any second now. No, all right.
that had to be an exciting job.
Well, hey, working at Sears selling like refrigerators and dishwashers and washing machines, it was good money. It was good money. You get these rich people coming in from what's the rich? Oh yeah, Shorewood in Milwaukee, coming and buying these $800 Kenmore like side loader units, and it's just a huge scam. Just getting those expensive units. It's just so that the wife, can feel better that they're spending money on
It's
washing
the
machines.
divide and conquer sales strategy.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. Yeah. Many a fight, many a marriage was threatened on the sales floor of the Sears in Sherwood. But well, we don't need to talk about that. We can move on a little bit. So, we're going to talk about the first story of the week, and that's the announcement of Minecraft VR, which I guess happened on Monday. It feels like a million years ago. Like this is not even that big of a deal anymore. But
Yeah, I totally missed it entirely. So that's how much I have my finger on the pulse of the Minecraft beat. Like last thing I heard
yeah,
about Minecraft is they took Notch's name off of it.
yeah. Well, when your daughter is old enough playing Minecraft, I'm sure you'll be talking about that. That's what you'll be playing. But yeah, so Minecraft Earth which is a Minecraft AR game, augmented reality. So it's like a smartphone app, and it's a lot like Pokemon Go, I guess. And the hook on this, I suppose, is you go to different locations and you point your phone at them, and then you can like mine stuff and like craft stuff and mine stuff from different locations. I guess there's like different locations that like have like guards that you can like fight and stuff like that, and you fight like with your phone and all that stuff. So that sounds, I mean, I guess pretty cool. But I mean, how long are you gonna be doing that before you get
Yeah,
tired of
I
that? But
guess when you said Minecraft VR, the thing that came into my head was like, you get to build stuff like in real life locations. So like after a couple of months, you're gonna go to Times Square, and it's just gonna be like, brick shape, or penises made out of Minecraft bricks
yeah.
everywhere. It'll just be Dong Central.
Uh,
So, because yeah, that would be a great game. Like you build your Minecrafty thing in a physical location, and then someone else can go over there with the app and look at it. That's If you guys aren't doing that, what's wrong with you? Here's $1 million. No, I don't know how you'd moderate it.
Uh, well, that's pretty cool. And then, I mean, I suppose you can like put like your address, put like a geolocation, I guess, around your house, so you can build your own like house, and then, yeah, put like guards on there and all that stuff. So,
Just a whole other new world of like art, AR graffiti. Like,
oh yeah,
hey man, wake up! Look at your house. It looks fine. No, no, look at it with the goggles through the phone.
uh,
You son of a bitch.
yeah. Your little Sally is sad because the other kids defaced her Minecraft house. You can only see with the phone. And Grandma's like, "What are you talking about? The house is fine."
we've successfully made bullying even harder for adults to detect.
Yeah, to understand. Yeah. So all right, I mean, again, I don't play Minecraft, but I think there's like quite a lot of interesting capabilities. I think you can actually do that, especially the just going to like a place and there's like guards there that you can like fight. That to me sounds like I would love that shit as a kid for sure. So all right. And then we're gonna do a little follow up on the. We briefly touched on this last week about the Sony Microsoft Cloud deal. Well, apparently there's some more reporting going on, and the games division, the PlayStation division of Sony, apparently was not even involved in this and didn't even know about any of this stuff. And this
Okay.
seems like this was done at the very tippy top of Sony and more of a company wide, I guess, adoption. And it was
Yeah.
so bad that people didn't even know, was this going to be the next PlayStation? Was PlayStation 5 going to be scraped? So yeah, not. I mean, what's Sony doing these days?
Yeah. Well,
Besides the
they've been
PlayStation.
better lately, but like Sony in the '90s was the the worst example of like a giant corporation where the left hand doesn't know what the right hand is doing. Like,
Yeah,
don't even get me started on mini discs and how Sony, the movie producing studio, uh, and Sony and the record label, like Sony Entertainment and Sony makes cool stuff, technology. Like they never really saw eye to eye.
yeah,
And long story short, mini disc was a great format that got totally kneecapped for no reason other than they were worried about piracy.
yeah. Yeah, well, it seems like there's a lot of different FIFAs and all that stuff within Sony. But I mean, when you get that many, when you get a huge conglomerate and you're adding that many different teams and companies to your portfolio, I'm sure that's going to happen. And it's not all of the
Yeah.
original founders. So
Well, and it's also like I guess if it's coming from the top down, they're like, all right, we've got this partnership with Microsoft for this and that and AI and DVD players and then the video games division. It's like they're like one of our main competitors, right? And like, what?
yeah, we
Sorry, I should come over here more than once a year.
yeah. All right, so that was just kind of interesting. So I think Jason Schreier actually had that story. I believe I could be wrong about that on Kotaku. So good on him. All right, and then but maybe he had this one too. So here's another story about the Call of Duty franchise. And it seems like there's a little bit of turmoil amongst the different studios that are in the rotation. There's a 3-year rotation for this game. Sledgehammer, Infinity Ward, and then Treyarch, which does the Black Ops. They did Black Ops 4, which just came out. Modern Warfare 3 has not been announced, but it's pretty much been already leaked that it's coming out from an Infinity Ward. And then Sledgehammer was working with Raven Software, actually a software developer in Madison, Wisconsin. But I guess
They're old school.
yeah, they did a bunch of old Doom clones back in the day, so it's good to see them still kicking around. They did a Quake 4 too, didn't they? Didn't they do a bunch of Quake games too back in the
Yeah,
day?
did they do the. I want to say they did the Darkness game, but I don't quote me on that.
Yeah, I'm not. Yeah, did no, I think someone else did that actually, but yeah, but okay, but yeah. So basically, what it seems to be happening instead of one of those studios finishing up one of the third games, Treyarch is going to be polishing up and making Call of Duty Black Ops 5 apparently. And instead of that 3-year window, it's going to be just a 2-year. So people are already freaked out about the crunch. But it seems like they're going to be able to use parts of the campaign, any parts of the games that the other studios were making. So, yeah, making these big ass budget games where you have like 1,000 people working on them, apparently not the easiest thing in the world because we see all these big studios, all these big publishers. EA, Blizzard, Activision here. It seems to have a lot of problems these days. Bethesda seems to have these games that I think are just becoming maybe a little bit too big, a little bit too complicated. Or maybe everyone's just using like this patched together shitty engines that, it's time to just, build something new, I guess. Or I don't know, move the Unreal engine. I don't know. All right. Frank, are you Frank, what's your thoughts on that Treyarch taking on Black Ops again so soon?
Um,
You're
good luck with the shooty bang bangs, guys.
Yeah, I can't wait to see what you guys put a spin on the first-person shooting genre. Yeah, I'm sure.
It's just such the work for hire job of the industry. Like, all right, you guys are really really talented, so we're gonna. Oh, the thing's shutting up. Yay! Uh, you guys are super duper talented. So here you're gonna make the newest version of the gigantic thing that we make every year.
Yeah, Jesus Christ! You're gonna render an M16 in 10,000 polygons this time instead of 5. So there you go. Get to work, monkey. All right. Okay, and then here we go. Mario Kart Mobile. Remember that thing? Well, it finally released in beta. I believe in Japan, and then maybe in Australia as well. So this is kind of our first look, and a lot of these, actually, the images that people have put out and the videos they've put out have actually been struck down or whatever, like been taken off. So Nintendo is pretty, what do you want to call it? They're pretty active on not letting people like post images, but some of course have emerged, and yeah, it basically looks like a kind of a what do you call it? A pared down version of the latest Mario Kart 8 for the Switch and the Wii U. The graphic fidelity is not quite, as there as those the console counterparts, but definitely looks like Mario Kart. And the way you steer it is that the character is constantly moving, driving, just like a constant runner, and then you basically have your thumb. And you basically point your thumb in the way that underneath the car. You go right, go left, go right, go left, and you basically steer it with your thumb, going back and forth. And you you use the items by like tapping them. And I guess the way you push them forward is you swipe them up, you swipe them down to do like a banana peel behind your. So that looks all cool. It looks definitely like kind of like maybe a Baby Eyes version of Mario Kart, and I guess there's actually like an auto steering as well. So I guess it doesn't actually let you off the course that far. It doesn't let you veer off the course like at all. So yeah, definitely not the full experience. And apparently it's got a bunch of gotcha mechanics, like a lot of gotcha mechanics, and
you mean gotcha as in blue shells, or gotcha as in give us your credit card number?
Oh, it's we gotcha. we got your credit card number. We got you now. No, but apparently the way you like open up new courses and all this stuff and skins is that the only way to like get better I don't want to say the only way, but a way to get better drivers to get better on courses, and you're playing this all online against other people. So is you have to like put, it's like one of these things where you pull a character and you get so much percentage of this character, and their abilities are 5 stars or 4 stars or 3 stars or 2 stars or whatever. So and this is only a beta so far, but it seems like it's very heavily reliant on these gotcha mechanics where you need to basically like pull a random character, and you can pay money to pull more randoms. So I'm not sure exactly how it works, but yeah, people have pretty much said that, because Nintendo mobile games have been kind of respected because they're not just gouging people for money. And
until now,
yeah, and also they haven't been making a whole lot of money as they should be. So Fire Emblem kind of was the first Nintendo game with these gotcha things, and I think they've probably seen how much money you can get off that, and they've introduced this in Mario Kart. So a little bit disappointing on that, but on the other hand, it's Mario Kart on your phone. So
officially,
yeah.
It'll be interesting to see. I'm sure someone out there has got a YouTube series on this or whatever, but like, what are the Mario Kart knockoffs that are available on iOS? Because there's got to be a million. I couldn't name one, but there's got to be a lot.
I wonder if Sonic Team By the way, Sonic Team Racing came out recently too. That's probably the best
I watched a clip. It looks like shitty Mario Kart.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So there you go. Well,
interesting to see if someone else had a more mechanically rich, less phone gamey version of Kart Racer out there on the phone.
Yeah, and maybe Mario, or not Mario, but maybe Nintendo's like, okay, there are people that are going to give us thousands of dollars. Let's let them do that. But for the more normal person, let's give them kind of Mario Kart Lite, and because we'd rather have people buy a Switch and Mario Kart than feed their gambling addiction. So that's I guess that's the silver lining.
Yeah.
You can look at it, right?
Just we just can't leave money on the table.
Yeah, yeah. Like we're trying to get rich, right, Shigeru?
No, they're
Miyamoto-san.
trying to make good video games and have a successful business.
No, we're here to bring joy to the world, right? Yeah, it's all about the games, right? All right, well then, well here we go. Here's a interesting news tidbit. A new console? Is it a new Switch? Is it a PS5? Is it the next Xbox? Whatever. No, it's a new handheld from Panic Software, which is kind of this Mac indie software company that's been kicking around for a long time, 20 years now.
They're
And
the Firewatch people, right?
and yeah, then they recently been publishing games, including Firewatch and Unknown Goose Game, I guess, or Untitled Goose
Ooh,
Game, right?
yeah, that looks good.
Yeah. So
That's just gonna end up being the title. It's gonna be this is gonna
yeah.
Untitled Goose Game.
Well, I think that is the title, right? I think that is what it is. So, but yeah, so they have this new handheld console system called the Playdate, which basically looks like a Game Boy mixed with the original old school iPod, where it has a monochromatic screen. And I think it's 240 by 400 or something like that, but apparently it looks really crisp and all that stuff. It's got 2 buttons, and it's got this turning crank on the right side of this thing. So, Frank, have you seen this thing at all?
Yeah, I was because they just announced that today, right? So that's why everyone was talking about it on Twitter.
Yeah, today or yesterday. Yeah, but maybe we'll say. Yeah.
Because yeah, like so my first question, which they conveniently answered in their promotional materials, is that the crank is for gameplay. It's not. This is not a battery-free, like crank-based video game system. Yeah. To which I say, why not?
Yeah.
Why not put a dynamo in there?
Yeah. Well, for the apocalypse, we're gonna want to play Game Boy games, right? I mean,
we're all just gonna be sitting in our bunkers cranking various electronics.
Like I want to get a Tetris here, Dad. Let's keep on going.
I'm cranking my Game Boy. I'm cranking the DVD player. I'm cranking my personal massager. It's the nuclear family of the future. But yeah, so and the other really interesting thing about it, like so as it kind of looks like a neat little industrial design kind of thing. I don't have any like major complaints with it, other than like it doesn't look like it's the most ergonomic thing in the whole world.
Yeah, how are you actually gonna play it? How's it gonna feel when you actually play it?
But I'm kind of intrigued by the way that they're going to publish games on it, which is kind of an interesting system.
Yeah, so they're gonna be. It sounds like they're gonna be releasing almost sound like a game like every week, but no, it's gonna be like at least 12 games. They're gonna release every month.
They're gonna have seasons, and so I guess and season 1 is included with the purchase. What I guess I'm curious as to like what happens if you buy this down the road, because that's way more.
Yeah, you're gonna get them back, and then are you gonna have these have them forever? Are they gonna go away? Are you gonna have all 12 at the end?
Yeah, well, it sounds like it's 12 games. They are released over time. They are all kept secret until release. Because they were talking about they want you to have this kind of like excitement Christmas morning kind of thing where like it's new game day, we get to find out what it is, and they've talked about the variety of like some of them are going to be longer and shorter games, so yeah, I guess we're not going to learn a whole lot about them until they're actually coming out, because that's kind of a part of the system. And then season 1 is included with the system, and then I don't really know what the price point is for buying further seasons or subscribing, basically.
Yeah, so it'll be interesting whether it move forward. I don't think this is sustainable. I don't think people are going to be like, yeah, I want to keep on going. I think eventually what's going to happen after these 12 months, I think they'll have some sort of like app store, I think. And by the way, this does have like Wi-Fi too, so you can download stuff.
Well, yeah, I
Um,
would imagine it's got to have some kind of way of getting the games on there.
yeah, and I can imagine them because these guys actually do a programming program for the Mac, so I can see them maybe like opening this up more for like an itch.io type thing or something. So
Yeah,
that would
like I,
yeah.
I I could imagine it doing something like that down the road, like you know, with or without it doing well. Like if it does bad, they're definitely going to do something like that, and maybe they will if it does well anyway.
Yeah, so 150, 149. I think they're actually going to sell a lot of these. I don't mean like 5 million, but I think if they
Yeah,
sell like 500,000, I think they're going to be pretty happy with that. And I think they look at kind of their customer base, the people that are buying their software.
yeah,
They're probably very passionate people that probably buy every upgrade. You know, these are programs that are like 100, 150 bucks. Well, I mean, I don't know, but they're expensive programs for professionals. And they're probably looking at that customer base. Man, if we can get a quarter
mm,
of these people to buy one of these, I think we make money. I think they make money.
yeah.
So,
Well, and it's like I think they're probably going to do okay just with the $150 price point because that seems a little like it's a little high for me for like I'm very intrigued by this thing, but I'm like I don't know if I'm $150 intrigued.
what do you think?
Uh,
What do you think it costs to actually make this? Because the I would say the crank is probably the most expensive thing. I would say, right? Because it's probably a custom part. You'd
um,
imagine.
yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I guess I don't know about enough about how cheaply you can get Chinese factories to make these
I
things
bet this
nowadays.
costs them
But
like $70 or something like that.
yeah, I imagine that it's not gonna that it's gonna be up there. It's not something they're going to be making for like $20 or $10, just because like it seems pretty clear that this is aiming for like the niche enthusiast audience. Like it's clearly aiming for like people like me who have except with more time on their hands. Um, so I imagine that the build quality is going to be good. I hope so. Like for something like this, you don't really want to, you don't want it to feel cheap and flimsy.
Yeah,
Uh, like I hope they're going for some of that, iPod coolness. The early iPod when we were all just blown away by the weird design of like, wow, it's this touch thing and you spin it. And
yeah.
honestly, actually, confession time. I never really figured out the original iPod interface.
Oh yeah.
It was
Did,
weird. I
yeah,
had
I
a
think.
shuffle. That was the first one I had, and that was just buttons.
Oh, the
So
shuffle. Yeah. Well, I think it definitely looks pretty cool. Yeah, I'm not like probably not a day one buyer, but I mean this would be a nice little present too for like someone like a stocking stuffer, I would suppose. And I'll tell you what, this is probably the most Nintendo device made by a non-Nintendo company like ever. I would say this is. I could definitely see Nintendo releasing something like this. This looks like something Nintendo released like back in the '70s or something like that.
yeah.
With this weird crank.
um, it's like yeah, it's well, it is kind of like like the Game and Watch kind of like concept, like taken to the max.
Yeah,
Uh, yeah, I guess for me, this thing's really gonna live or die on the game quality. Like if there's some real um, like interesting kind of seeming games on there, I will definitely be significantly more interested. So that's like I like the idea that they have going for the way they're distributing games. Like I like the idea, but as a consumer, it's also like I guess I would like a little bit more information. Can you tell us about the first three? Like
yeah. It's kind of a
um
blind buy, sort of.
yeah, well, because I imagine they're gonna start with one of like the first games that come out are gonna kind of be like we're gonna have like one like short like pick up and play kind of fun game, and then like the second game that'll come out will be one of the longer form games. They gotta be thinking about this kind of stuff, right? So
Yeah. And looks like they've got a lot of indie devs ready to go to make games for this. So
yeah. Well, and it's gonna be interesting to see how people use the crank. There's
yeah,
almost certainly going to be a fishing game on this. Like that
uh,
seems like a utter no brainer.
Well,
Uh,
they actually showed some video of a game where almost like that running game where you gotta like push the keyboard buttons in the right timing so the guy can run, but you're
oh,
basically like
WAP.
so you're basically turn the crank back and forth to make a guy like run through like a scene or something like that. So yeah, yep. So yeah, pretty cool. Pretty probably definitely the most interesting thing I think since the Switch we've seen in the hardware front. So all right,
Yeah, well, and I like I said, I don't know if I'm going to buy one of these, but I'm very invested in it doing well.
yeah,
I like the idea, and I like that I like that there's a market for black and white games with weird controls. And that not everything has to be a maximalist, AAA
yeah.
game where there's 10 million polygons in the bush that you're hiding in.
Yeah, and can you run Doom and is it do you have HDR and all this stuff? Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it's kind of weird. Now we're going
Group
back.
physics.
We're going back and releasing these old school systems that are new for the most part. So pretty interesting stuff. All right. And then Frank, did you have any news for us?
Um, no, not really. We got releases are the dry period is starting to peter off and there's a lot of interesting indie releases out. So is Observation. I think today came out, um, which is a game that I will definitely be getting once I finally get around to playing the developer's earlier game, Stories Untold, which I still haven't played. I bought like a while ago.
So this
Still haven't
game,
played.
so Observation, this is from what I understand, what I've gleaned about this game is that you're basically playing a robot AI on a space station or something. So
Yeah. It's like you're the interface. So you're the HAL 9000 in this situation, and you're helping an astronaut get through a disaster. So yeah, it's kind of a like I would say a cinematic puzzle adventure game,
kind of like,
where
I'm sorry,
it's
go
a
ahead.
lot of interacting with the human characters, and I have heard like so it seems like it's a very short game, like 3 or 4 hours, and that there's occasional frustrating pixel hunt kind of stuff, but
Yeah.
otherwise, like presentation wise, it looks spectacular, and it sounds interesting. So
Is this a modern day new take on Night Trap, Frank, where you're basically just watching FMV and like
uh,
killing space vampires in the spaceship?
well, I'm assuming it's a lot more complicated than that because it's not actually FMV. It's not pre-rendered. It's
Yeah,
still
yeah.
but it's like one person. So it's one of those games where you've got like it's like other game that I'm having a hard time finishing, Hellblade, where it's like, wow, this lady looks amazing and the mocap is awesome, and I'm pretty sure the other NPC is just a video clip with a lot of effects on
Uh,
him. Like there's nobody else in this world. All the polygons are used on the main character.
mhm. Yeah, well, that's definitely an interesting concept with the you're the AI trying to save the guy as opposed to killing the guy in 2001. However, I was just thinking, man, what if there was a kind of like an old school BioWare RPG where you could be good or bad? So if you wanted to, you could actually start killing off the astronauts on the ship. So
That's just Knights of the Old Republic 2 from the Killbots perspective.
yeah, exactly. Bring it on. Bring it on. Bring it on. Apparently, by the way, speaking of Knights of the Old Republic, apparently that's going to be a movie pretty soon. It's going to be they're writing it right now, so that
Yeah,
that'd be dope.
I am excited to learn if the games are canon or not anymore.
Ugh, jeez, all that time and money I spent on the books and the video games and everything just thrown away by
It's not
Disney.
canon. Oh, so this is a bit of a tangent, but I finally saw Endgame. Speaks of things not being canon anymore.
Pff,
Uh, and I am very. And then I watched a clip of the new Spider-Man, and they're talking about how the fallout of Endgame is like there's now the multiverse, and so the Marvel Cinematic Universe is also Earth 616, which upsets and annoys me because Earth 616 is the main Marvel Comics continuity. Like they have to like number these things for the different universes. Like, Ultimate Marvel is Earth, blah, 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 who knows. But yeah, so I'm like, it's confusing that the movie one and the comics one get the same number because now you've got like Earth 616A and Earth 616B. Just give it another number, guys.
Mm.
It's confusing. Because, in the movies 616, there's no mutants, and in the comics, there is. So there's already a big difference between them. And yeah, it just makes my nerd spleen hurt. So, yeah,
Well,
tangent. Sorry.
Frank, everything you just said is exactly why I don't read comic books, why I don't watch these comic book movies. I'm not 12 anymore. I've moved on. I've moved on.
The movie
All
was
right.
pretty good.
But if everyone likes to like that, that's fine. I'm not gonna hate on people liking that stuff. So, all right. Okay, so I'll tell you what. Let's take a break, and we'll be right back with the games we've been playing. Alrighty, are you all good?
Yeah.
Right.
I'll go first because I don't have a lot this week.
I don't shit either, so but I'll let you go first by all means. All right. Okay. All right. Thanks for sticking with us. And again, blah blah blah. Again, of course, make sure you subscribe to us on iTunes and check us out on YouTube and give us a good review and all that stuff. But anyways, right now we're gonna do the games we've been playing. Frank, you've elected to go first. What have you got for us?
Same stuff as last week.
Super exciting.
Yeah. Still plugging along at Shakedown Hawaii. It's not a long game, but it's good. Pop in, play around. I don't feel a lot of pressure to like just keep plugging away at the story mode or anything. I just kind of hop in, do a mission, buy some properties. I've reached the part where it's like my bank account is starting to like spiral, and like every day when you get your fresh money, it's I gotta just like find tons of stuff to spend it on. And I can't figure out where the one complaint about the game is the map is kind of hard to find points of interest on, like with the exception of stuff to buy or stuff that you own. Because there is like a doctor's office that you go to for a mission, and that has upgrades, like character upgrades you can buy. And so now that my business empire is taking off, I can give myself a hefty salary and like actually like because your business money and your personal money are kept separate, uh, but you just pay yourself a salary. So now I can actually pay myself enough money to go buy like the more health and stuff like that. But I can't find where the building is because there's no like legend on the map, and I've just got to like, do I seriously have to just hover over every building here and try to figure out which one is the doctor's office? Have I bought the doctor's office? I don't remember. Um, but yeah, it's I'm enjoying myself. And then I've also still been playing Earth Defense Force 5, and will conceivably probably be playing that till the end of time because it's such a gigantic ass game. I think I am up to maybe into the 70s for what mission I'm on. So maybe approaching the 3/4 of the way through, with one character. And
Jeez.
thankfully you can with the ability to get upgrades for other characters is real nice because then you're not starting over from scratch. But yeah,
I was gonna say, is it just this mindless shooting that's fun? It's just like game loop that just
for
it's
the
just fun.
most part, like missions are different. They'll have various scenarios. Uh, you know, they are always kill the things, but sometimes you just need to survive against an overwhelming force. Sometimes you're just clearing out a bunch of small enemies, and then it sets up kind of fun scenarios like it sets you like on an elevated train tracks in a like almost completely destroyed city, so there's not a lot of cover. With then just at the horizon line is just filled with enemies, and it's like you're supposed to bring along a long range weapon so you can pick off as many as possible before the swarm eventually hits you. Like the best parts of that game are when it kind of reminds me of the like the zombies in this last season of Game of Thrones. The big zombie fight where they're just spilling all over the front lines. Um, like you get that kind of thing where it's just like a wall of ants coming at you, and you're just laying into the wall of ants with your machine gun and screaming and hoping that you're mostly hitting alive ones and your bullets aren't all just being blocked by corpses. And then the ants are crawling over the bodies of their fallen ants, and then you have to retreat, but then you get saved by a tank, and there's some fun moments like that. But yeah, a lot of it is just kind of like, it's a loot based game, so a lot of it's like you kill a bunch of enemies, you fly around and get the loot. I enjoy playing as the wing diver because the extra mobility means you can go and sweep up the battlefield of like, don't kill the last ant, and then just go sweep the battlefield for upgrades and power ups. And then hopefully, eventually, like your helpers will probably kill the ant. But so just try and get as many as you can. Um, so yeah, actually, last time I played, I got a whole bunch of new stuff for the wing diver to try out. Finally, kind of getting the hang of the charge up weapons, where you have to hold down the trigger to like fill. It's like a backwards weapon. You reload it to begin, and then you fire off the entire magazine in one go. Like you charge it up and let loose. There's a fun gun called the Splasher, which is kind of like um, a rapid fire grenade launcher. So you charge up a full charge, and then it just unleashes like 40 small grenades, and you almost kind of just barf them forward. And it's really fun with the wing diver to. There's some tougher enemies that the game has introduced that have armor on. They look like X-Files aliens, the old '90s big-headed gray aliens, but they have fancy armor on and don't take damage until you knock it off. So it's a lot of fun to fly up in one's face and then just unload on it with the splasher, and then just kind of melt the armor off and then eventually kill it. It's blue, so it's not like pouring hot. It's like pouring hot lead on your enemy while flying around in a jetpack, but it's blue plasma instead of hot lead. But yeah, and I still haven't popped in Darkwood. Like I've got that, and yeah, it's just so much. I need more time. I need more time. I haven't finished Obra Dinn, and that's going to be a really hard game to pick back up because it's all
Yeah.
about remembering who is who. I'm gonna
Yeah,
be
that's
like, I
true.
have no idea who anyone is anymore.
Yeah, a
Just
game
start
like
over.
that, you need to like be able to finish that like in 2 hours, basically, right? Because
Or in like 3 or 4 sessions relatively close together.
yeah,
Uh, but I know I got distracted and I haven't gotten back to it. And now I'm afraid to.
yeah, it's tough. It's tough to get the energy back to go to a game like that. So I feel you on that. All right. All right, well, I'll just talk about a bunch of games I've talked about a billion times already. PUBG had a update recently. They actually introduced the public test server again. They had this before, but they haven't like kind of used it recently. But they did it. They opened it up on Tuesday, I believe, and basically they're just testing out the loot that they've added to Erangel, the original map. The original map, when the game first kind of came out, was more kind of based on the DayZ formula, where stuff was like loot was like very rare. But kind of as the game has evolved, people are like, well, it's more fun to get guns right away and to actually fight as opposed to be running around and get sniped from afar from someone who actually did get a gun. And consequently, all the maps afterwards is basically just up the loot every single time. And now, the Sandhook map, the island map, you basically drop and you get like ARs like all over the place. But so, anyways, they're increasing the loot in Erangel, and I think they've actually hit the right sweet spot. They're not giving you like a ton of loot, but they've just slightly upped the percentages of like getting like a good rifle. So I played a couple of rounds of that, and then they've done these other changes. Supposedly the level of detail, they've tweaked that, so supposedly it runs better. It feels like it runs better, but this may be a complete placebo. effect, thinking, it's an update, so it has to run better. But I mean, it's definitely not running 60 frames per second. So when I say run better, I mean like two or one frame or something like that. And maybe it was only the kind of the first day that I was playing, but there weren't a lot of people playing in the test server. And in fact, most of the games that I got put on, there's only like 44 people playing it. So I don't know if people just don't know about it or they're not gonna take the time to download it. But and then just in other stuff, I didn't really see too much of a difference because my friends were actually playing the regular game, so I went back and played with them, and I honestly did not notice that much of a difference between the two, the updates and all that stuff. So it seems like more of it's a loot kind of thing. So, anyways, that's going on until Tuesday. So, if anyone wants to check that out, go ahead. And then Battlefield 5 had a update today, a bunch of bug fixes and just a couple other things. They had some new spots to the Firestorm map. But the kind of the big thing for me, at least, is the leaning, the ability to lean in the game now. Battlefield has kind of had this weird automatic lean system that never really made sense. But now they added this thing where, like PUBG, you can like lean. So if you're behind a tree, you can lean over and like kill someone from afar. And I've actually have friends who don't play Battlefield because you can't do that because it's not realistic like that. Well, they added that now. It's not quite as drastic as like leaning in PUBG, but it definitely like helps. I got a couple of headshots earlier this morning by leaning, so that's cool. However, the leaning is not available in Firestorm, the BR, yet. So there must have been like a bug or something like that because you cannot lean in Firestorm, and that really sucks. But they're going to be patching that later on. And then the other big thing is that visibility. There's the enemy soldiers were really hard to see, like in the dark or against rocks and all that stuff. And there's actually videos of people like laying on the ground while a whole team just like walks around them and cannot finding him. So they did another pass on the visibility and they added a shader. So there's kind of like this light on someone, this like subtle light on someone at all times, basically. And you don't really notice, but you just notice that you're able to actually see people in the dark and all that stuff. So it's definitely because a big problem was people would just go into like a dark corner or like just basically like just snipe or like lay down with an MG gun and just cause havoc. So but they definitely helped out on that. So it's the game is I don't think quite there yet, but it's still kind of slowly coming together. Even though it released in November, so I think in sometime soon it's going to be in pretty good shape. So that's always good to know. All right, okay, all right, that's it. Nothing too exciting,
Um,
but yeah.
I have. It's sorry to take us back to the old segment here with news because we've already been doing our games we've been playing. Show's basically over, but while you were
late
talking
late
there,
breaking news. Late breaking news.
yeah, like an hour ago, um, so Chex Quest. We got big Chex Quest news, guys,
Mm.
which I am incredibly excited about because I am of the proper age for this. Okay, so if you don't know, Chex Quest was a Doom mod released in boxes of checks in the 90s on an AOL CD. It's also like pretty good, especially for kids. And it was like a free. You got like a whole free game in the checks, and it's probably the best thing that's ever been put in a cereal box for a prize. I actually played it not that long ago. I replayed it. It's like with the Z Doom, so with modern enhancements, and it still holds up. I mean, it's not the world's greatest Doom mod, but it's kid friendly. It's definitely the world's greatest kid friendly Doom mod. But anyway, Chex Quest 3, because they made a Chex Quest 2. Chex Quest 3 was basically a fan game, but made by one of the guys who worked on the original. And so basically, just recently they have gone ahead and made it official. Like it is now canon in the Chex Quest universe, Chex Quest 3. And there was a new kind of collected version released. But what got me really excited right now is there's just a conversation on Twitter because sometimes these things happen in public. with limited run games chiming in and basically saying, we tried to get like a Chex Quest physical release, but the person we talked to at General Mills like was convinced that we had just made Chex Quest up. Uh, but yeah, the whoever's on social media on checks is like, hey, hit my DMs. So, Ron Paul, it's happening. GIF. Well, it's happening. There's going to be a limited run games, but well, okay, let's not count our chickens before they hatch, but it could happen, and that's cool. And I will buy whatever stupid. It's gonna cut like It's gonna have a floppy. No, they can't do a floppy disk like Sigil. It's too big. They well, I don't know. Maybe you could fit that on a couple of floppies. But they'll do a CD-ROM. They can get AOL in on this. AOL's still around, right? Okay, sorry. I just got late breaking news.
Put it on the Playdate.
Very, very niche market. Me.
There you go. Well, go ahead. Take your money. Take his money, General Mills. Go ahead. Unlimited run games. Okay. All right. So I think we'll end it with that. All right. So thanks for listening as always. Thanks for listening and watching. And we love the fans. We love the fans. All right. So for Frank White, my name is Chris Stotts. It's been Chris Frank Games. We'll see you guys next week.